Hello and welcome to Ask Sam episode 2, the video series where I take your questions and answer them. And today we've got a question, nice question, common question, a question which you may have asked yourself a few times in the past. How many words should I be learning a week? So let's have a look. Hi Sam. When I was in school, I had to learn hundreds and hundreds of words for tests and exams. Oh. Now, I learn English on my own, and I read on your site that I should learn fewer words. So, how many words should I aim to learn in a week or month? It's a good question, and yeah, learning words for tests and exams is something that I just find so bizarre. And this is a bit of a side before I get into my response, the whole point of learning a language is to be able to communicate and speak to people. It's to be able to express yourself or negotiate a deal, or to be able to speak to clients, or to be able to travel and use English or use the language you're learning to just get by and survive. A lot of these tests and things that you do at school do nothing for you. Just the other day, when this was recorded, I had a student and he wanted to take a language test which some universities use. Now, this language test requires you to basically choose the correct definition. So you get given a word and then you have 4 different definitions and you have to choose one. And then you have to fill in the missing gaps. So there'll be a sentence with a missing word or a couple of missing words, and you have to fill in the correct word. Now, that's useless. This is my very blunt opinion, but that is useless because it's not preparing you for the real world. You won't have to do that in the real world. You're not communicating by filling in missing words or looking for definitions of a word. You're not communicating, you're just answering questions. So yes, people who learn hundreds and hundreds of words for tests and exams against their will, against what they want to do, you are being abused at school, in my opinion. It's pointless and it doesn't help you for future, because I guarantee that most of those words have now disappeared. They've gone. You will never see or use them again. Anyway, let's get back to the question at hand, which is how many words should I aim to learn in a week or a month? So, here's my response. My first question for you is, do you need more words? Do you really need more words? I mean, it's good to be learning words regularly, but to be learning new words each and every week, do you need to do that? Now, if you've started to maybe work in a new field or new area, or if you're doing some research, or you're going to university, or if you're deciding that you want to take up a new hobby or interest, or maybe if you're just talking to a language partner, you might want to learn new words so you can use them. But if you don't need to learn new words, then you don't need to do them every week. You can instead use what you already know, and if you remember from the last episode, you can build your working language, you can build your working vocabulary. So instead of always focusing on new words, why not give those old words a bit of love? So that's the first thing. Do you need more words? The next thing, where will you find them? Because this is a if you want me to answer this in more detail, I'm happy to take this question and dive into it a little bit more. But where will you find them? If your answer is, I'm going to go through a textbook, or I'm going to open the dictionary and just pick out a few new words, I would ask you to stop. The thing is with dictionaries and textbooks, dictionaries are great if you're maybe looking up a word, or if you just want to pass the time by finding some old and archaic and obscure words which people don't use anymore. And textbooks are great if you just want to have a flick through, enjoy yourself, you know, maybe do a few little exercises when you've got nothing else to do. But there's something that textbooks and dictionaries both lack, and that's telling you how useful that word is for you. You know, that's telling you how much people use that word in real life, or use that language in real life. So if you just choose a word out of a textbook or out of a dictionary, I would say to you, stop. Is that word actually useful? Are you going to learn it? Are you going to use it in real life? Do native speakers use that word? And that's funny because I've had international students use words in class, in conversation, which I don't even know what they mean. You know, I don't know what these words mean, and they've used them to speak to me. I think, what was it? Once I asked a student how he was feeling. Yeah, I asked the student how he was feeling, and he said he was feeling gravely solemn. Gravely solemn. That means he was feeling extremely depressed. But I've never heard anybody, I mean, it's not something, you shouldn't laugh at people who are depressed, but I mean, just the phrasing, gravely solemn. I've never heard that in my life. You know, I understood what it meant, but I've never heard that in my life. And it turns out he was just very homesick, and he was missing his family and his friends and the food back home. But yeah, so that's my other point, is where will you find these words? Where will you find them, and how will you know they're useful? And third is, how will you practice? Because learning words is fine, but how will you learn them? You know, like, what strategies will you use? So I think that these 3 questions are really useful when it comes to thinking about how many words you should learn a week or a month. Now, if you want an actual answer, a real number for how many you should learn, for me, I say no more than 10 new words in a week. If you have to learn new words, you know, and you've been learning English for a few years, you can understand me pretty well, then I would say focus on 10 words a week, and focus on getting those really, really correct. Learn how to use them, learn what they mean, use them in your speech, you know, write them, use them in sentences, that sort of thing. Okay, and that's the end of episode 2. If you have an English question that you would like me to answer, just pop it in an email and send it to sam@englishforstudy.com, and in the subject line just write, Sam, here's a question for you, in the subject line, so I know it's a question for Ask Sam. Alright, that's it for episode 2. Thanks for listening, hope it was useful, and bye bye for now.